Good day, folks. Welcome back to my neck of the woods. My name is Deco, where I steer my experience and my knowledge, hoping to lessen your learning curve. So today I'm going to talk about a broadhead. It's not necessarily a review. It's more of a first impression. This is a broadhead that was sent to me by a subscriber. The subscriber wants to remain nameless, and that is fine. The broadhead that was sent to me is made by a company called Ramcat, and it's new. I think last season it came out, 2023. It's called the Hemoshock. I think it's called the Hemoshock or the Hemoshock DP. This is the DP, the deep penetration one. This is a 3-blade. There's a 2-blade model also. All right, so I'm going to get into a first impression on this and whether or not I'm actually going to try it. Before I get started, please sub the channel, like my videos, and make some comments, all right? So this is the broadhead. They sent me a 3-pack. There's 3 of them here. It seems to be is a front deploying mechanical broadhead. And if you've watched my channel at all, you know that I am a fan of Ramcat. I used the Ramcat originals for many, many years as a bow hunter before I even started a channel. And I was very satisfied with them. Their claim to fame really is penetration. You always get pass-throughs as long as you hit them in the moneymaker. And you're going to get those pass-throughs. Not necessarily durable as far as the blades. The blades are relatively thin. They bend and they break. But I think Ramcat alone is fine with that because they have sharp blades. Some of them have like a back cut on them. And since mechanicals have become more and more popular or even trendy, Ramcat has made more and more broadheads, most of which are mechanicals. So let's break this down on a first impression, okay? First off, I don't like the design, which sort of saddens me because I like Ramcat and I like that company. At first glance, I'm not sure that I am going to try this on a deer. I may do some testing with some cardboard or shooting into other mediums, but I'm not sure that this will open after looking at it and examining it. So let's look at it here. It's a 1 1/4 cut. And it's a 3-blade front deploying broadhead with an O-ring, and then these little notches here telling you, whether this is a lower poundage bow, a high poundage bow, or a crossbow. So I shoot a crossbow now because of shoulder and wrist problems. So shooting a crossbow still allows me to get in the woods and hunt. Anyway, so this is the lowest poundage here, or maybe you can go down one more. I can put it down one more notch. No, that's fine. So at this lower poundage here, it's pretty tight in there. It has a good amount of, tension on it to hold those blades in. And shooting a crossbow, they tell you to kind of stay away from the front deploying ones because sometimes they pop open because of the pressure coming out of the crossbow. I don't think that will even remotely be the case with this broadhead. So if you can see, let's take one here. You can see the angle on which these are supposed to catch when this punctures the animal are almost straight out. There's a little bit of an angle, and they're hoping that upward angle catches the hide. I think that there's just too much downward pressure there. This needs to be. It needs to be a better angle, very similar to, like, this design is very, very similar to a Grim Reaper. It's almost identical, except it has an O-ring, and it doesn't have the sort of more drastic angle here that's going to catch that high. Like a Grim Reaper, it has no choice but to open. No choice but to open. This has a choice. It might not open. And so the amount of tension that this O-ring has on it, right? So it's difficult to describe over a video here, but so that's a low poundage bow, right? So let's see if I can pull it here. Let's see if I can break this O-ring by pulling it open. Right? I can't really. And that's a lot of tension on that lowest setting there. So say I'm going to put it up to where I'm supposed to, sorry, I cough a lot, where I'm going to shoot a crossbow, right? Well, oopsie, all the way up here, right? Now that's so much tension on it that I can barely pull it open with my fingertips. And I can't even break it. Just with my own pressure here with my fingertips. It's hard to grab, but I think you get my gist there. So even if I take this and I put it into a piece of cardboard that I already have a hole in right here, right? Now let's use this piece here. Right? I already have a hole in there, and I've already kind of pre-started it with some other, with the holes from this, right? I mean, it starts to open, but I mean, the amount of pressure that I have to put on that is ridiculous, and that's on the lowest setting. So I am reluctant, and I'm very sorry for my subscriber that sent this to me, but I've done enough broadhead reviews that I think I need to start doing first impressions before I actually test them, especially with more people sending me things and to test on the channel. But I am reluctant to shoot this into a deer for a test, because I'm not doing it in a lab. I'm not doing it, I don't have different mediums. I'm not shooting into ballistics gel. I test them by shooting them into deer. Turkey sometimes also. I am reluctant to shoot this into a deer because I'm afraid that it won't open. And I guess that's the risk you have with mechanicals, but most mechanicals, I mean, they're designed properly, and they do open. Even if one blade opens, I mean, that's, a lot of them are big cuts or whatnot. But to give you a look at this broadhead, so this is a 1 1/4 cut, which is a relatively small cut for mechanicals for the most part, but it's a 3-blade. It's going to give you the same cut that like the original Ramcat would, and its design is almost identical to the Grim Reaper, except for these little, the way that sits up top. And I can see when it's an open design, that swept back design is going to give you great penetration. If it does open and it goes through this ferrule, I really like this ferrule. I really like this ferrule because it's sharp up top. It still has those sort of scoops that help with flight that Ramcat does. I mean, it's certainly durable. I mean, if this goes into bone, it's going to go right through. These blades are flimsy. They're going to break right off. But Ramcat is not known for its durability. It's known for its penetration. And it's kind of a sick little broadhead. But giving this retention system and how those blades, I mean, I hope you understand what I'm saying here. These blades, there's really not much of an angle. So when this goes into something, right? When this goes into something, all that pressure isn't focused on opening those blades. It's just downward pressure. I think that when this shoots into an animal, I think it's just going to go through straight like that. I don't think it's going to open. The design tells me that it's not going to open. And I looked at some other reviews on, there's no reviews on this on YouTube. I am the first impression. And it's been out for a year or so. So normally people do it. And there's not even like a Ramcat video that shows you like all the breakdowns of it and the mechanism and everything. And so I think the design is poor. I'm not sure that I am going to shoot it through a deer. Maybe if I get a couple deer in the freezer, and I have another one, but I'm not in the practice of going out there and just wounding deer. I used to say that all broadheads work. You know, whether it's a small cut or a big cut, it matters where you hit them. I'm not sure that this is going to open. And let me rephrase. So I think it will open. But based on this retention system, it is so stiff and so stout in there that I think if used properly, If I put this up top here for crossbows, it's not going to open. It's just going to punch right through. I do think that if I was going to use it, I'm going to use it on one of these lower pounded settings. I do think it will open, but will it open all the way? Is that O-ring going to break, or is it just going to roll down? I'm not sure. Like, here's the lower setting, like I did before. So, just trying to pull it open myself. I mean, that was a lot of pressure, as opposed to like a Schwacker, or even some other O-rings, or even Rage. Rage has those sort of plastic collars. Once it hits, those break. They break right. Even O-rings. The O-rings are designed. Here's the thing. I'm not sure if the O-ring is designed to break or just to roll down. But in this case, there's just too much. There's too much tension on the system for it to break. It would have to roll down. And I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm very sorry to my anonymous subscriber, but my first impression of this is not to shoot it into a deer. I think it's a failed system. I'm going to keep an eye on YouTube and see if some other people do some other reviews. There's one guy that did a review on the Hemoshock, the original one. It's a 2-blade, 2-inch cut. And his review is, I'm not sure how much merit it holds. He did shoot it. He did have a blood trail, but he shot the deer like 4 times, or shot at the deer like 4 times. So, but he did a couple of reviews on them where he seems to be satisfied with them. But that's my first impression of this Ramcat Hemoshock DP. I wouldn't buy it. I know that's sad, but if you're going to spend, they're $45 for 3 of them. If you're going to spend $45 for 3 of them, I would buy something else rather than this. All right? That's all I have for you. Sub the channel. I'll talk to you guys later. Be well.